I'm about to do a couple of days of fantastic four-wheel driving. First, I'm going to do some dirt and rocks and rivers up in the Condamine River area, and then I'm heading up to some sand on the Bribie Island. Now, I've got a great little safety tip that four-wheel drivers use all the time. Do you want to find out what it is? Hang on, and I'll tell you all about it. So what's this great little tip? Well, it's really quite simple. It's airing down your tyres. It's letting some of the air out of the tyres. Well, what's that going to achieve? Well, on the track I'm doing today, up here in the rivers and on dirt, it's just going to allow the tyres to soften up and really get a good grip on the road surface. When I go over a rock, it's going to be like this. My tyre's just going to mould. It's also going to make a softer ride inside the car. There's a number of ways that you can let the air out of your tyres quite simply. I'm going to just show you three of them now. Now, the first one is this. You get a little device like this, and it's got a tool on the end here, and unscrew the valve stem and then pull the valve stem out. Lots and lots of air comes out really fast, and then you just check the pressure with a pressure gauge, a little pencil one like this or whatever you've got, it's just fine. And once you get close to pressure, you put the valve back in, job done. Then you've got devices like this. They're a Storm tyre deflator. Pretty cool little device. You screw it on there, and the preset pressure that you've set these to will let the tyre down to exactly the pressure. So you can screw it on this tyre, go around, screw it on all four tyres, and then by the time you get back to the front again, they're pretty much set to pressure. Take them off and off you go. So that's another system we have. Now, the one I'm going to use today is this type of tyre deflator system. Now, to let some air out, I just pull this collar down and the air comes rushing out. And then I can see my tyre pressure right here on the gauge, so I know exactly what I'm doing. So that's a pretty cool system that we can use. The pressure we need to let the tyre down to is determined by a lot of factors. It can be determined by the road surface we're going to be going on. Is it clay, mud, shale, sharp rocks, round rocks, rivers, sand? The list just goes on. And every vehicle, every tyre and every driver is going to have slightly different requirements. So I can't give you an exact number of what's going to suit your requirements, but as a rough rule, if you drop about a third of the pressure out of your tyres that you've been running on the road, that'll give you a starting point. For example, nice easy one, you're running 30 PSI on the road, drop your tyres down to 20 PSI, as easy as that. Sand driving is so much fun and people love doing it, and I particularly enjoy sand driving. Now, letting your tyres down on sand is a different kettle of fish because we're actually going to let them down a lot lower than we would on a dirt trail or something like that. For sand on my vehicles, I'm going to drop down to around about the 15 PSI range, and then depending on the sand, I may even go a little bit lower. In an emergency situation, you can let your tyres down to as much as 10 PSI, and the traction increase is huge. And it's because of the principle that you see when a boat is going across the water at speed, at planes, it sits up on top of the water. Well, a similar effect, although not to the same extent, happens with a four-wheel drive. When you lower the tyre pressures, you increase the flotation area of the tyre on the sand, and when you have a bit of speed up, the tyre will sit up on top of the sand far better than if you had full road pressures in your tyres. There are a few risks that we can have when we lower the tyre pressures. For example, when we go into a sharp corner, say full lock, if we have a little bit too much speed, the tyre will roll off the rim and that can actually cause the vehicle to roll over. So when you've got your tyres aired down, keep your speed down to maximum of 80 kilometres an hour, but really you need to be very, very careful once your air pressure's down a bit. Well, now that I'm aired down, the tyres are going to give me heaps of traction, which means that I'm safe. So I'm ready to go and explore this fantastic valley. I'm Mad Matt, stay safe on the trails.